Greetings from Israel. My name is Nassim Lerner, and with me today is my wife Hadassah, and we're co-founders of his Lighthouse Inc. We made Aliyah in 1989 from the United States with our 5 children who are ages 10 to 15. And we settled in Tiberias for several years. While there, we ran a distribution center of clothing for new Russian immigrants. And later on, we moved to Givat Zev, which is just outside of Jerusalem. And today, we are in Ashdod. And you wonder why we're in Ashdod. We came in December of 2018. We've been having people stay in our house who are making Aliyah or who thought about making Aliyah. And we were just asking the Lord, what do you want of us? So in our practice, we usually take off for a couple of days and go away somewhere to pray. We picked Ashdod to pray at because it was a nice place. It was on the water, and it was, December. And so we came here, and we were praying out on a balcony, not this one, but in the same building. And this is what the Lord have for us. And I felt like the Lord spoke to me and said, look up, look out. You think I brought you here because it was a pretty city? It was on the ocean? Or that you were at a nice hotel? He says, look, what do you see? And we looked out, and we saw these line of ships just lined up. And then we looked off to our left, and there was an old lighthouse there. Not functioning, but it was a lighthouse. And we go, whoa, what is this? And so we said, okay, Lord, let's really show us what you want. And he spoke to us and said, wait a minute. First things first, we need to be worshiping me. So we entered into a time of worship. And we just put it on our phone for a song, and it went to song after song after song. It had a special meaning for us. So we finished worshiping for quite a while, and we came back into prayer. And the Lord showed us this, look at those ships out there. They're delivering cargo and goods to the port here. And it hit us. This is a port city, one of the 3 port cities in Israel. And he said, just like those ships are delivering goods right now, one day all those ships will be lined up to deliver my people. And we went, oh, wow, that's right. We can see it just burned into our hearts. And then we looked again to the left, and there was a lighthouse. And the Lord spoke again and said, I'm going to use the lighthouse as a beacon for my people as they return. Because when they return in these great numbers, it's going to be like a tsunami. This country is going to be overrun with people. And we were here 89, 90, 91 when we had the great Aliyah from Russia, where over 1 million people had come. So we knew what it was like because the government here didn't know what to do with the people. There were so many. And they opened up hotels and any place they could to house the people. So he showed us that this lighthouse would be a beacon of light, a beacon of hope, not only physically but spiritually for his people coming who would be in trauma. And the beacon of light would be his light, which would cause them to be able to overcome what they had been through.
In Jeremiah 16, the scriptures talk about that one day there's going to be an Aliyah so great, an exodus so great, that it will eclipse the first Aliyah from Egypt. And that Aliyah was so amazing that our whole religious life is built around it. Not just Passover, remembering Passover, but the Seder and all kinds of scripture is all about the Exodus. But there's going to be another Exodus that's going to be larger than that. The scripture says we will forget that Exodus. That means that there's going to be such an enormous amount of Jewish people, and not only the large amount, how many miracles. And they might be horrendous miracles like Exodus. Those were miracles. The plagues were miracles. They were horrendous. But it's what God used to bring his people out. So when Nassim's talking about a tsunami, he's talking about, we specifically, okay, from America, 6 million Jewish people are not coming to Israel. So just those 6 million, even if they came let's say the next 6 years, that's 1 million a year. That's a lot of people. But let's say they came in the next year. He said in there, he also promised, it's a promise, in order to bring his people home, I'll send fishers. There's going to be people who will come and they'll tell you about Aliyah, and they'll gently fish you out, and they'll help you, and they'll carry you like a fisherman casting a net. But he said, right after that, and then I'll send the hunters. Those were the ones that would not fish, and we are in the time of the hunters. I was in the States in September sharing this word from Jeremiah 16. And a lot of people didn't believe it or didn't know it, or it was new. And like, how can that happen? When would that happen? Well, that was in September. And when we look at what's happened so quickly since September, the coronavirus was not just in America, it was worldwide. Things are shut down, the economy is shifting. And some places, it may take years or it may never shift back to be profitable and be helpful. And then now, in America, 3-4 months later, we have riots, we have racial unrest, we have anarchy actually. We have anarchy. But it's not only in America. When you start looking, other countries, people are rioting. Some are using the excuse of racial, but there's rioting worldwide starting again. So you wonder, what would ever get me out of America? When I was there, it was like, no, it's wonderful here. Well, all of a sudden, there are 100,000 Jewish people who are looking to make Aliyah now because of the coronavirus. How many more because of the riots, which also include extreme anti-Semitism? So what we are giving is a warning. It is coming, it is happening. It is the time that we're in. It is the days of Mashiach. It is the birth pangs. And even though there will be hard times, and that's a mild word, we need to remember it is the times of Mashiach. This is what has to happen. So thus, he has showed my husband, this is how we get ready. We get ready to receive our people when they come back.
We continuously prayed. We were here for like 3 days, and the Lord put together some things. First off, the name of the organization was His Lighthouse, because it was all His, and it's going to be all His doing. And we're here to facilitate, to help Him in carrying it out. So at the time, we had a house, again, that I mentioned that we used in Givat Ze'ev for new immigrants. And the Lord showed us to continue on doing that. He focused on that. And then He showed us of what was to come into the future. It would be a complex that could house 500 people at once. It would be much like a kibbutz is. We'd have a community dining room, dining place, and have different buildings for housing of the people. It'd have buildings for art therapy, physical therapy. We'd have gardens that people could plant, and we'd have animals to help soothe the children. When you started looking at what it costs, it just amazes. It was like, there's no way we could do this. And the Lord just showed us, says, I will bring the money when it comes. I will bring the resources that you need, the people that you need. You just do what I tell you to do. That really was a revelation to us, and the real stretching of ourselves, because we saw that it was not on our own strength, but it had to be on His strength and His power. And that just, in a way, it freed us from the overwhelming thought of what it would take. We ask you to pray to God and see what your part in this will be. And we appreciate any prayers you might have and any financial support you might be able to give us. Whatever it might be. But don't do anything that the Lord doesn't show you to do. And we thank you right now from the bottom of our hearts for listening to us and for just praying about it. And may the Lord bless you in everything that y'all do.
יהודים מאמריקה, בואו לישראל. All the Jewish people are living all around the world. Please come to Israel, to the Jewish home.